Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israel here for Renaissance Periodization Injury Prevention Made Simple number 8. Don't do dumb stuff. It's not dumb stuff. It's another word I'll use later because YouTube algorithm doesn't like us swearing in the introduction. So here we go. The truth about getting hurt in relation to your gym activities, be they for hypertrophy, strength, or whatever else, is that a lot of times getting hurt is out of your hands. You're training properly, you're taking all the right precautions, warming up, good technique, so on and so forth, but you get hurt. It comes with the territory. One of the most wise things I've ever heard in my entire career as a sports scientist was when I was a doctoral student under Dr. Mike Stone. Look him up, Dr. Mike Stone, Strength and Conditioning. He's got every award in the book, hundreds of publications, it was one of the foremost sort of forefathers of American sports science. We were talking about injury once, and it's this beautiful moment of like real nuance where he was like, look, injury prevention stuff is a thing. It works. You should warm up, etc. But as far as predicting injuries' relationship to fatigue, for example, because a lot of people think like before injuries happen, they'll have this rewind function in their head where they're saying, I knew it was coming. I knew I was going to get hurt today. And it's all 20/20 hindsight. The thing is, here's what Dr. Stone said. He said, most of the worst injuries I've ever seen were when guys were doing everything right and they felt great. Felt great and strong enough, just strong enough to pull yourself into pieces. Right? If it's going to take 660 pounds in the bench press to lob your pec off the bone, if you're fatigued and not so motivated and you're benching 600 or 590, it just might not be enough physical force to tear your pec off. But when you're grooving and jamming and you're like 670, baby, you take it down, bam, it happens. The thing is, getting hurt like that, you can't possibly regret it because you were doing all the right stuff. There's just nothing to do. If you're going to reach for the sky, if you reach for the sun, you'll get burned every now and again. That's fine, right? But those are the injuries that we're just going to have to deal with and use all our precautions to make sure as low probability as possible. However, there's another entire category of injuries in which you knew you had it coming. You knew you had it coming, and it was from shit that you knew better not to do. Just as a friendly reminder, what exactly is that non-inclusive, because there's way more than we can talk about here, list of dumb shit not to do to get yourself hurt? Number 1, these aren't in order of importance, they're all important. Number 1, rushing or skipping warm-ups. If you look back to our warm-up video we did in this very series a couple videos ago, you realize all the important reasons why warming up radically reduces injury. Just 2. 1 is it physically makes your structures warm. At a physics level, makes them less likely to tear, and 2, it sharpens your technique to be proper so that there's less of a chance you get out of the groove and then hurt yourself that way. If you rush and you skip warm-ups, then you're going to be in a higher injury risk state, and when you get hurt, everyone in the gym is going to have one of these faces for you. Like, oh no, Brandon, your pec. If I'm there, I ain't going to say shit to you, and you know why. Because you had that shit coming. Usually, you're warming up to 400 pounds on the bench. You take 5 or 6 warm-ups, take your time. You're like, do some push-ups, do 225 for a few reps. Like, fuck it, load 4 plates on. Oh, my pec. No shit. Where did you think that was going to go? Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Number 2, altering your technique to grind out another rep. Yeah, normally you'd skull crusher like this, but them shits is getting hard, so you flare your pecs out, push your elbows out, and bing, something goes in your chest. Who are you going to be mad at? Yourself. Because why did you do that? You could have simply finished the set with good technique and called it a day. Anytime you get out of your good technique, you're getting into 2 things. 1, a situation in which you're leveraging a lot of things against one joint, not a good idea. And also, you're not practiced in that technique. It's outside of what you normally expose your body to. Force vector-wise, you may actually get hurt. And start swinging it on curls and stuff like that. If you hurt your elbow or bicep swinging on curls, well, you should have just stopped before you had to start swinging. The forces would have been lower. Everything would have been better. Number 3, dumb thing to do in the gym to get hurt. Maxing out at random. I mean, for the love of fucking God, how many people do this? Like, yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good. Let's max out and fucking squat today. Let's max out and see how much weight I can put on my waist for pull-ups. Let's see how many dips I can do, bro. Like, maxing out is dangerous. It just is. Powerlifters accept it at face value as something they have to do. If you're not currently periodized to be maxing out, and or you're a bodybuilder and there's no point for you to ever max out, ... Why are you maxing out? You're needlessly exposing yourself to an injury risk for no good reason. And if you've periodized yourself to this, if you're doing doubles and triples, and now you're doing a single, you're technique-wise and joint-wise are ready to be exposed, so the risk is low. But if you're like used to doing sets of 10 to 20 and you try to do a max-out set where you do one rep as much as you can, your body's not remotely used to it technique-wise or tissue integrity-wise. You're literally just asking to get hurt. And there's never a good reason for this. Justin Bieber, again, said never, or he sure, I don't know what he meant by that, but, almost never, just to be scientifically correct, is it a good idea to max out at random. Unless someone shows up to the gym and they're like, hey, you want to max out in the squat? We'll give you $1 million. Here's the cash box for you. Short of that, it's stupid as hell. Don't do it. Number 4, very related, accepting a gym challenge for max or for reps. Right? There's some guy in your gym or there's some old bullshit promo and they're like, hey man, test your, bench max, or let's see who can do the most pull-ups, and you're cold, you're not ready, you might not even be training that day or training that muscle group, and like, come on man, let's see what you got. You're like, all right, let's go head to head and see who can squat more. Like, people do this shit. Great idea if you want to get hurt, right? Number 5, related to the last one, but in a more sort of continual sense, trying to keep up with a training partner's load, reps, and sets. There's a bunch of times when myself, Jared, and Charlie have been training together, and sometimes we get another person to train with us. They have to decide which load and rep scheme they're going to get closest to. Jared is a technique freak in the best way possible and not leveraged as well as me for strength, so he's typically on like leg movements. He's the one lifting the least weight. Then it's me, then it's Charlie. And all of us are pretty spread out. Jared and I are pretty close. Charlie's way the hell away from us. A new guy training with us in a rotation has a choice. The correct choice is to do whatever weight and reps is good for them. But they have another 3 choices. Train sort of like Jared, use his load, his rep-ish, because sort of, egotistically go, oh, yeah, I can get this rep in this weight. Train with me or train with Charlie. And guess 9 times out of 10 what everyone's temptation is. They want to go with the Charlie route. But you can't. You're probably not strong enough to beat Charlie legs for legs. Almost no one is. There's probably like, a couple hundred guys in the whole world that can do that. You're probably not one of them. So all of a sudden you get hurt on the leg press because Charlie did 20 and you did 17 and you push yourself so hard and you had to convert your technique that you end up pulling your quad. Why? What is it that, you're not going to be as jacked as Charlie just because one time you matched his reps? It's all ego. It's all stupid bullshit. You have to put the weight on the bar that's right for you, which means if your training partner is doing laterals and he takes out the 30s and it would be fun to just use the same weights, but the 20s are better for you and the 30s would be like sets of 6 and your shoulder might get hurt, don't pick up the 30s. Scale everything to yourself. At the end of the day, you're there to get jacked safely. You're not there to test your ego against what is a completely arbitrary measure, which is just your training partner. Like, your training partner could have been anyone else, right? Imagine if you had the opportunity. Imagine you just had through family friends met Brian Shaw and you guys hit it off. You were best friends, and now you're training with Brian Shaw because it's convenient. His gym is in the same town as you. You train 3 days a week. What you gonna do? Hang with Brian Shaw? But he's using the 200-pound dumbbells. I'll use those. No, they'd be insane. You'd laugh at it. You'd be like, of course I'm not. I train with him and he spots me and we chat between sets, but I'm not trying to lift his dumbbells. It's crazy. He's the world's strongest man. Well, then why would you do that for anyone else? Why would you do that for anyone else? There's no good reason, so don't do it, because I've been in the situation, I've been tempted, I've been hurt before. And I've been in the situation before, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it, and then I don't get hurt, right? Really, really simple. Number 6, easy one. Don't do fuckery lifts, because if you do, you can get hurt. For example, a random muscle up, especially cold. Someone's like, hey man, can you do a muscle up? You're like, of course, bro. Boom. Torn lat, torn tricep, torn pec. Even just a little bit of a messed up shoulder. So for a week and a half, your training for shoulders isn't that great. You got a lifetime of training to get in. You want as much of it to be good as possible. And remember, what is the purpose of doing a fuckery lift? Like a cheat curl or some kind of like Turkish get-up type bullshit. What is the actual purpose? It's fun at the time. That's nice. A lot of things are fun at the time. You're a forward-thinking person that's trying to construct the body of their dreams. You don't have time for that shit. You need something that has a purpose and actually doing that construction of your body or increasing your strength long term. What is a factory lift going to do? Nothing. It's just a needless risk for no good reason at all. No good reason at all, right? So if you do a lot of fuckery lifts, which we all do when we're younger, we pay for it. At some point you grow up and you stop doing shit like that. Number 7, physical stupidity outside of the gym. Arm wrestling when you haven't trained for it. I've been to plenty of parties. Jesus Christ. I was at my wife's graduation a little while ago from a medical fellowship program. And I had one medical doctor approach me and say, hey man, when I get a couple drinks in me, I'm challenging you to an arm wrestling match. Because, I look like this. I could have easily just torn that guy's arm out of his socket, but there's a chance that when I put a lot of pressure and he fought back, I would have like pulled some kind of like one of my small muscles in the forearm. I've actually done that before. I've been to a college party in my 20s. Of course, I beat the guy. Duh, he was just a regular strong dude. I smushed him, and then after I was like, God damn it, my elbow hurt for like 2 weeks. Why? What is it I'm getting on arm wrestling? If someone wants to arm wrestle you, some stupid shit like that at a party, just be like, oh man, I think you got me beat. And if it push comes to shove, they really want to do it, you just fake it. You're like, ah, and then you let them win. It's not worth it. Nobody in that party is going to be like, man, you know, some girl's looking at you, she's like, oh my God, he just won that arm wrestling match against that one random dude. It's time for me to hit it. Like, I'm going home with this man. It just doesn't work like that. You know, most people vibe off your vibe. And if your vibe's like, hey, we're all buddies, let's just have fun, that's how you're getting laid, not beating people in an arm wrestling match, right? Unless you train for arm wrestling and then have at it. But most people don't. So their structures, they have just enough strength to be really good at it and just not enough connective tissue support worked in that range of motion and technique to protect themselves against injury. It's like an injury machine. Do not arm wrestle people at random parties is the best advice I can give you. Pathetic attempts at parkour. You know, you get that liquor in you and you see like a 3-foot tall cinder block in the middle of your downtown in the city in which you're partying. You know what I'm saying? Like, modern art's the shit. I want to be on it. I want to jump on top of it. I've done so many box jumps onto stupid shit I can't even recount. Backflips, shit like that. That will get you hurt sooner or later. I've gotten hurt, never seriously, but I've banged up my shins. It's stupid, and it can get you really, really hurt, right? Just Google parkour accident, watch 10 of those YouTube videos, and you'll never do parkour again, even if you're, 10 beers drunk. Lastly, high contact pickup sports. Okay, the guys are doing flag football, but they're being rough. Guys just started wrestling on the grass in a picnic or something like that. Volleyball, where you like beach volleyball, where you're really trying, getting a lot of vertical, really moving around. Look, if you're a high level athlete, if you're a bodybuilder, powerlifter, anything in between, one little ding with your knee, and you could be out for a long time. And someone's like, oh man, like, why are you out for a long time? What happened? And we're like, yeah, the beach volleyball with my buddies got real intense. Like, what? You sacrificed gym time for that? I'm not throwing Jared under the bus here, but Jared Feather, he'll tell you the story himself. He was doing like a charity volleyball tournament when he was a graduate assistant at school, or he was a CA or whatever, dormitory person. He was doing like a charity volleyball tournament. Jared's vertical is like 1,000 feet or something. He's like ruthlessly athletic. So of course he was crushing it. And I think he jumped up and came down wrong and he fucking tore like a thing in his knee. I think he tore his ACL. And then he was out for like 6 months and he hated the whole process. It was awful. Why? Right? And he's not the kind of person that's like, well, yeah, it was worth it. He's like, of course it wasn't worth it. He hasn't done dumb shit like that since. So it's a thing and you have a choice about it. Remember, you get hurt when the iron is riding high and you're doing all the right stuff. Hey, it's part of what goes on in the gym. If you get hurt doing dumb shit, then gee whiz, it really is on you. Now, if you get hurt doing dumb shit, look, I feel that. It's some shit that happened to you. It's okay. It happens to us all. We all do dumb shit every now and again. You can do one of two things. Say, ah, shit, and then keep being stupid, or say, ah, shit, and just be a little smarter next time. And next time you have 4 beers in you, someone's like, hey man, let's climb this ladder and jump off into this pool. You could be like, I'm gonna watch you motherfuckers do it. And they're like, why? Come on, man. And you're like, I need my old body for this whole gym thing. And look, if you don't need your body for the gym, fuck it. Climb that ladder, break your neck on the pool, trying to jump off when your foot slips on the water, whatever. But if you really care, learn from it. Don't do it as much. Now, let's say you did it. You got hurt. Now you're hurt. What's the best way to come back? We'll talk about that in the next video.